the last man standing match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and AJ Styles coming full circle. All this and more on this review of Impact Wrestling's No Surrender. Hey, what's up and how's it going, everyone? Well, I'm so glad that you have took your time to spend with me right here today on the MRB Wrestling Review Show. I am your co-host, Mike Big Rock Wilson, and last night, TNA Impact Wrestling presented No Surrender. That's right, a free pay-per-view live on TNA Impact Wrestling, and I noticed that they do that quite a bit now. The only exception is going to be Bound for Glory next month on pay-per-view on a Sunday night. Can't wait for it. And this show last night really, truly felt like it was the road to Bound for Glory. Even the way the show started with the, video packages with, the Bound for Glory's series Final Four competitors and the matchup coming with Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson. So those video packages set the tone for what's to come, not only on that show of Impact Wrestling, but the weeks to come leading up to Bound for Glory. The show kicked off last night when Bully Ray came out, along with his main squeeze, they call her, Miss Brooke Tessmacher. And Bully Ray never fails to cut a good promo and take the heat. The little things such as mentioning Hulk Hogan's name, Hulk Hogan coming out, willing to forgive Mr. Anderson to see he would give into, rejoining the Aces and Aces, so to speak, and everything just works when Bully Ray was on the microphone last night, as well as any other week on Impact Wrestling. And with that being said, when Anderson came out, he was, kind of teasing about, willing to go back with Bully Ray, only to, pretty much punch him in the face and building up this match upcoming for the one of the main events. Because the other main event will be the finals in the Bound for Glory series. And what I like is that the show kicked off its first match with a big bang. Austin Aries versus AJ Styles. Do you know who won that? Not only AJ Styles, but the fans won that match. That match was so incredible, I could watch that again and pick apart certain things and say really great things about those things. For instance, Austin Aries' speed, with the drop kick when AJ was going to look like he was going to do something. Austin Aries just comes right at him, and it really felt like a video game sometimes throughout that match, so it was pretty cool to say the least. And with that being said, the counter after counter after counter was really tremendous, trying to go for the brainbuster a couple of times, only to nail it, for the third time, but not get that win. I like it because, AJ Styles is a guy that should win that match and go on to face Bully Ray for the World Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory. And I called it. I will get to that later on. And what I also like about the show is that the show not only started off with the Bound for Glory series match, a semifinal match, but it continued as well with the other semifinal match. So I like that, they kept the momentum going throughout the show, and it was just incredible to say the least. Bobby Roode and Magnus put on an excellent match, almost as much as Austin Aries and AJ Styles did. And that was pretty interesting because I thought after watching the Austin and AJ Styles match that no one will be able to follow that, but I felt that Bobby Roode and Magnus really kept the show going with their incredible match that happened shortly after the first Bound for Glory's semifinal match. And what happened was Magnus won this match, and Bobby Roode, of course, was livid. And and what happened, we see him backstage with Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, and saying that, this show is not going to be over. There's not going to be a winner for the Battle for Glory series, and we're going to make a statement in the main event. So I like that, there's something to foreshadow in this main event. Shenanigans are going to take place. But the placing of the shenanigans, which I will also get to later on, also plays in the momentum of the show. Not only that, the referee's decision about the main event, as well as the end result. And like I said, I will get to those later on in the show. And it was one of those smart decisions with the Battle for Glory Series winner. And speaking of smart decisions, we see backstage that Dixie Carter talked to Hulk Hogan, and she says that Bellator had to pull Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson off of TNA Impact Wrestling because it felt like it really escalated with those two guys, and it kind of spoils the main event for the November 2nd pay-per-view for Bellator, for MMA. And that was a very smart thing to do because I seen and I heard a lot of complaints from a lot of fans speaking out to Dixie Carter, tweeting Dixie Carter, Facebooking Dixie Carter, mentioning that bringing in Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson was, in the words of Triple H, bad for business because what do they contribute to TNA? Nothing. So with that being said, it was a smart decision for TNA to pull Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson because this is a Impact Wrestling show, not an MMA show. That was pretty much the smart thing they done all night. And those smart things continue throughout the show, as well as the momentum. And also, we see backstage with Bully Ray and the Ace of the Nates, and Bully Ray planting the idea that, the other three guys, Knox, Bischoff, and Briscoe, may or may not cost Bully Ray the championship. And like I said, I will get to that in a bit. And just before the match took place, we see the video package, building up. Okay, let's get the audience watching this match and put this video package before this match. And it was absolutely incredible. Good timing to put in that video package. Was selling, Mr. Anderson coming into the Ace and A's club. The big welcome from the president, Bully Ray, and then things start to go downhill. And this rivalry building up to this match, absolutely incredible. The match itself, absolutely incredible. The outcome, absolutely incredible. Nothing wrong with the World Heavyweight Championship. And not only that, Hulk Hogan added a stipulation. It would be a last man standing match when the show started. And I like it because what that does is create shenanigans, and how those shenanigans took place and the timing of those shenanigans worked absolutely well. The only thing I'm nitpicking about was the triple powerbomb that happened with the Ace and Ace guys. Looked a little too much of the Shield from the WWE, but other than that, everything throughout that World Championship match was outstanding. Not only the big points of the match, but the small points as well. Bully Ray getting Brooke Tessmacher to get a steel chair, such a heel thing to do on the part of Bully Ray, as well as always talking to Taz throughout that match, and Taz and Bully Ray usually going back and forth, etc., etc. And Taz contributing to that match was absolutely incredible because he is an Aces and Eights guy. So it's funny where this is going to go. I don't know how they're going to write off Taz and this whole Aces and Eights group, but I like how it was written off with Mr. Anderson and Bully Ray. So what happened was Bully Ray won the match. And what I really also liked about the match is that I was waiting, I was hoping that no poke finger of death would happen because it would just totally kill the match itself, because the momentum would just shift down. Absolutely, that would suck. I like that didn't happen because it had to be a full-blown, straight-up hardcore last man standing match. It delivered. Bully Ray delivered. Anderson delivered. I like the little things as well. Anderson getting up a couple of times, proving that he still has a little bit of fight in him. Only to have him put through the table that was laid out in the corner, and the way the table cracked was like, oh, there was like parts going everywhere. That jagged edge part went off. The table cracked in two. You could see the wire out from the table. Oh, that was just absolutely incredible. And the use of the steel chain, the use of the chair, last man standing to its advantage. Like I said, there was nothing wrong with that match. Absolutely incredible. And after the match, we see Bully Ray, take out Anderson again from the stretcher, pull off his colors, and starts whipping him with the leather jacket. I called it last week, and it happened. Bully Ray retained the World Heavyweight Championship. After the match, he takes off his colors. Well planned out. Chapter closed. Aces and Eights storyline is also coming to a close, and I like now there's only four other people left. You got Taz, Knox, Garrett, and Briscoe. So something's going to happen between now and Bound for Glory with the other Aces and Eights members to write off this storyline with the Aces and Eights. So I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen week after week after week leading to Bound for Glory involving the Aces and Eights, because right now they had the run, and let's continue the storyline of planting these seeds for Aces and Eights to split. What they're doing right now is absolutely incredible, and hopefully next week that momentum still continues. Also last night on TNA, we see James Storm and Gunner cut a little promo mentioning that, we need some opponents for Bound for Glory. They mentioned the Aces and Idiots, as they called them. They mentioned the Bromans as well. And what they got was Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. And that was pretty much the only segment of the show I wasn't really crazy about because of the way it was done. And, James Storm getting the crowd up, with drinking beers, etc., Johnny Cash. And I think that Gunner cuts a better promo than James Storm, only because, he gets, it's really serious where James Storm likes to get the crowd going. So for that reason, Gunner is just a little bit better. And to be honest, Gunner really sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. His just a body with his big tattoos on his back. Wholly incredible. And it's this weird combination with him and James Storm being the tag team champs. And for that reason, I think, I could see this, continuing for a while and then having them split up eventually, because let's face it, the tag team division is pretty much nearly gone. Not just in TNA, but in general as well. So one day it's all going to come to an end eventually. And, planting the seeds with Chavo Guerrero coming out and cutting a promo really felt like he was talking as if he was a heel, and you might as well make him a heel. And Bound for Glory is an event where moments do happen, so I think at Bound for Glory, when these two teams go head to head, that Chavo Guerrero will probably turn on Hernandez to cause just a little bit of a rivalry, and for Chavo Guerrero to go over Hernandez in a possible one-on-one match, and then go for the X Division champion to face Manic sometime in the future. I think little things like that should be planned out in the future, and I hope that does happen. So with that being said, Chavo, not so good on the mic when he's a babyface. But I think if they turn him heel, he'll probably be a lot better on the microphone. So that was the only segment that I really felt like it was not as good as the things that happened before this segment happened. So, at least it didn't derail the momentum of the show. It just kind of let it slip away, but then it got back on track with the main event. AJ Styles versus Magnus, the final match for the Battle for Glory series. And that match just absolutely delivered. The fans were on their feet when Magnus came out and AJ Styles came out. So with that being said, the crowd was just absolutely ready for this match. It didn't feel like the crowd was weared out at all. They were ready to go, ready to have this match, waiting to see what the outcome is. And the winner of the Battle for Glory series to face Bully Ray for the World Heavyweight Champ is none other. I called it from the very beginning, the moment the Battle for Glory series started, AJ Styles. All I have to say is, get ready to fly. The right person won the Battle for Glory series match. He gets to face Bully Ray for the World Heavyweight Championship at Battle for Glory, and I think those two will put on a good show. Not only that, throughout that match, we see, things happen, with AJ Styles and Magnus that were absolutely incredible. It was another one of those matches where I felt like I like to pick apart and say really good things about what happened here. It was just incredible. And for Bobby Roode, Magnus, and Daniels to come out in the middle as opposed to the end would just derail the momentum of the show. It would kill the show entirely. So I like that they placed the interference in the middle of the show as opposed to the end because of that reason. And also, it's a high stakes match. So the ref decided not to call off a disqualification because, like I said, it would derail the momentum. And for that reason, I think that was the right call on the part of the ref and the other refs that came out. So for that reason, they had to continue this match because we need a winner for this match and to have enough time to build up the main event for Bound for Glory. And after the match, we see AJ Styles talk on the microphone and say that he has something to say to Dixie Carter next week. And he mentioned that, if you thought, the things that I said before were scandalous, you haven't seen nothing yet. I got a feeling that AJ Styles is going to talk about his contract because I heard the rumors about his contract being up, etc., etc. So I think somehow that's going to come into play. I've seen the post on Facebook from NoDQ.com. So I'm getting these vibes of contract negotiations, contract, signings, playing on real life things going into this match at Bound for Glory. And it's really interesting because I figured they would focus more on the build up to Bully Ray versus AJ Styles, only to have, this little side story in between. So it's going to be interesting to have the main story and the sub story. I don't know how they're going to play it out, what will be the main story and the sub story. All I know is that what AJ Styles did before TNA went off the air is make the audience look forward to see what he has to say next week on Impact Wrestling. And that was my review of No Surrender for the MRB Wrestling Review Show. I'm your co-host, Mike Nick Rock Wilson, and to all your viewers watching, get plenty of rest, and always, and I mean always, do your best.